So first, how did you get from where you started to where you are today?
Well, that's a good question. And it's a long answer because, yeah. I mean, first of all, I started oboe in 5th grade, and in 5th grade, nobody knows what they're going to do. But I was always drawn to music, like by my senior year in high school, that's when I made the decision that I was going to pursue oboe as a career. And basically, I actually thought I was going to be a composer, and I thought I was going to be a pianist, and I had all these different things, and oboe really was my fun thing to do, and I really took piano a lot more seriously. But I did this thing called an apprenticeship program with the National Symphony, which is in Washington, D.C., and I'm from Northern Virginia, so that was my hometown orchestra. So I went to this apprenticeship program, and my mom actually thought it would be a good thing for me to do, and it was great because I got out of school to go. And I got to witness rehearsals. I got to, they had these interviews with musicians, they had interviews with management, they had interviews with just different staff people. And the long story short, it's just, I really got a good idea of what a career in an orchestra is really like, good, bad, and ugly. And in one of the rehearsals that we were listening to, it just hit me that this is what I should do. And from that point, actually, it was too late in the year to actually go to, audition for conservatories and go. So I actually went to James Madison University in Virginia for 1 year, and I decided, okay, I'll major in oboe, and knowing that if I was really going to take this seriously, I would go to a big conservatory where I'd have a chance to see if it's going to work out. And so I went there a year and auditioned to transfer, and I just auditioned to a couple schools because I was figuring I was either going to go for the very best or I was going to change my major. And so my backup was I wanted to be something in art, and so I went and I auditioned and I got into Oberlin, and so I went to Oberlin for 3 years. Then I graduated, went to Eastman for 2 years in Rochester, New York, and got my master's there. And then it was like, okay, what are you going to do? And so basically, I was one of the lucky ones, because a lot of people they'll get their degree and then don't do anything with it. But it just so happened to be that my second year at Eastman, there was a lot of auditions, professional auditions, and I actually had my game plan was there was this training orchestra in Florida that takes people that are kind of in transition, and I thought that I put all my eggs in that basket. I thought, oh, that's perfect, that's just perfect. I'll audition for that, and I'll do that, and then I'll be ready to try to see if I can get a job. And then I thought, as a backup, maybe I'll come to LA and go to USC for the doctorate. But then I didn't get into that training orchestra. That was a disaster. But there was a whole slew of job auditions, so I thought, well, I'll just start taking job auditions, and the first one on the docket was Kansas City, and I got it. I got the job, and so that's not the norm. And so, but I went there for 5 years, and then I kept wanting a bigger job after that, and so I was auditioning for 5 years. I took everything that I could until finally LA Phil worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, it's long and involved, but
Yeah.
that's in a nutshell.
Okay. And then what obstacles have you overcome to get to where you are today?
Oh, wow. A lot of obstacles, because it's so competitive. So a lot of the obstacles are in my own head, though. I mean, because you have to consider the audition process is so, it's very much, at least at first, it's not, oh, let me see how, if we want to hire you. At first, it's like, let me see how we can eliminate as many people as possible, you know, so we can, you know, cut to the chase. Because if you have all these tons of people auditioning, then you know, they're just trying to eliminate people, and finally narrowing it down to, okay, here's some big prospects. So big obstacle is just, it was right between my ears, because I you know, the belief that I could do it, the belief that I could actually perform at the highest level that I thought possible under pressure. And so it just led me down this path of trying to figure all that out. How, you know, how do you go about doing that? Yeah. And so, you know, I did a lot of visualization, did a lot of just mock auditions, a lot of, you know, in addition to practicing, it's just like just really honing in on exactly what is the skill being tested when you go into the audition. Because the skill being tested in an audition is not necessarily the skill that you need for the job. You know, so, but this was the obstacle, you know, that this is the barrier between, you know, somebody wanting to do it and somebody actually doing it, is this audition, and trying to figure out how to get through, you know, jump through all those hoops. So that was one obstacle. One other obstacle I would say that I had was a physical one. The summer between my junior and senior year, I actually got really sick and had emergency surgery and all this stuff, and actually I would say because of this it was perceived as an obstacle, but it actually became the thing that put me in further in the direction that I wanted to go, because I had to figure out, what was I doing this for? You know, and I think everybody in any career has to really figure that out. What am I doing it for? You know, and really had, once I answered those questions, basically I felt like, well, I'm doing it because I love the sound of the oboe and orchestra. It just feels right. Yeah. You know, and it feels right when I'm doing it. And B is that I had something to say. I always felt like, you know, I have something to say. And okay, and after that experience that summer, I you know, the part of the problem why I was, you know, between my 2 ears, you know, like all this mental stuff is just like thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. After having that illness, I was like, I don't care if I'm not good enough. I don't care if I'm the worst oboist in the world. I've got something to say, and I'm alive, and I'm going to say it. You know, so it really taught me that, and it changed everything. So.
Okay, what advice do you have for kids trying to find their passion?
Figure out what you're doing it for. Like, you know, if you can just listen to that inner voice as much. I mean, it can be hard, because sometimes the inner voice is not saying anything. You know, it's like, okay. But I say try to listen to it and see if it's saying something to you. And the other thing is just keep pursuing things, and I think if it feels right, then you should, it's enough that you can keep going
Mhm.
and, you know, keep going until if a door shuts, then it's like, well, maybe that's not where I meant to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? But sometimes I think that trying to find your passion is trying to eliminate other things,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's normal,
Okay.
so.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you for
Oh, you're
doing
welcome.
this.
Sure.
Okay.
Fine.